Hello, good evening, dear viewers of Divine Mercy Radio Television, live from Buea, Cameroon. Buea is the Southwest Regional Headquarters, and that is where we are coming your way this evening with the program Mountain Echoes. And Mountain Echoes come on your screens every evening at this time, where we usually put on critical issues on this table, have a discussion around the issues with our panelists to help in educating, sensitizing, and edifying you with critical state issues. Tonight, we are going to be shifting away from education, sport, health, and even politics. We are going to be talking plenty of innovations and sciences in this edition. Now, you want to recall that last year in April, the head of state, Paul Biya, did a gesture to scientists of this country, especially researchers, to be very precise. He increased allowance for researchers. This in a bid to ensure that researchers in the country can be able to focus on their work, because there's no country that really thrives if the researchers are not able to, who are the backbone of economic drive, are not able to come up with their proposals for economic activities. And so the head of state increased their research. But then researchers in the country are still going through a lot. They keep complaining, especially without the infrastructure, without the funding, and all that disadvantage and challenges that they still go through. Next week from the 14th, I guess, to the 18th, the National Scientific and Innovation Week will take place in the national capital, that's in Yaoundé. So the head of state, it is going to be under the auspices or the patronage of the head of state, Paul Biya. How much will be able to leverage on this week of this fair, to be able, this 1 week fair, to be able to accelerate our scientific research and innovation in Cameroon is what researchers will be doing. And so in the Southwest region, we're equally going to be having quite a number of researchers who will be going down to Yaoundé to be part of that innovation week. This evening, I've invited a couple of researchers to join me on this platform so that we get to talk, for you to know what's happening as far as research in Cameroon is concerned. So once more, you're welcome to this platform. My name is Jude Mbako Monio. You're watching Mountain Echoes. Let's have a breather. We'll be right back in a jiffy. So you're welcome back. Let me introduce the guests I have with me in the panel. This evening is a full set tonight, talking on innovation, on sciences, and technology. So to my far left there, we have Dr. Nambangia Justin Okole. He is a senior agri-researcher, and he's the chief of station at IRAD in Ekona. Yeah, this is not the first time you're coming on this platform, and I'm excited and delighted that you made the appointment today. Welcome, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm willing to be here at any moment. So far as it is to give information to the public, I'm always happy to be here.
Right. Crossing over to this other part, we have Bate Elvis. It's not your first time as well. He's always regular here. He is a researcher on geopolymer, concrete and cement. You're equally the regional pedagogic inspector for geology, that's in the littoral region of Cameroon. So, Bate Elvis, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jude, and good evening to the fellow panelists. I feel humbled that I'm sitting with my teacher right from Higher Teachers Training College, Dr. Mafani, taught me in ENS, and he equally taught me soil science in the University of Boya while I was doing the master's. So it's a privilege. I think he will be hitting his chest that he's trained somebody too.
And the person is making him proud.
Making him proud.
All right. So we are welcome to the program. We have Dr. Josh Mafani. Dr. Josh is a geoscience expert.
Researcher.
Yeah. And he is equally the regional delegate for scientific research and innovation for the Southwest region. I can understand when you say he's a heavyweight and has taught you. So, Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Judy. It's always a pleasure to be on this venerated panel. And like my colleague, Mr. Tabe, said, we just shared experiences, and I am pleased to be sitting on the same platform with him, and proud to see where he is now, and I think he's going to go a lot more further than where he is now.
Right. So thank you for the service to nation, because breeding on one scientist is quite a lot of a great deal you're doing for the state of Cameroon. And we have a special guest as well in the studio. He's a special guest because he's not been here. He's the only person who has never been to this panel, and is visiting us for the very first time. Captain Joseph Saketi.
Very well.
Yes. From the United States of America. Captain Joseph is here. He's visiting the Diocese of Boya, but you're an expert. Well, we were doing religious travels, but we've hooked you here today to talk on AI and technology.
That's right. Thank you.
Yes. So you're welcome.
Lovely to be here and in town, visiting Buea and also Cameroon to see my friend Bishop Michael Beebe, wonderful man, and Father James, and also chatting about AI.
Right.
Because we live in a time right now where the power of supercomputers is at everyone's fingertips. And it's an amazing ability to harness it for good.
When did you come into Boya? Since when have you been here?
For 2 days.
2 days now?
Yes, and I was in Douala just before that.
All right. So hope you're going to be here for a longer while so we can also enjoy your hospitality.
Well, thank you. Yes.
And your knowledge on AI.
I'm enjoying not only wonderful hospitality, but excellent Cameroonian food.
Right. I can imagine. You definitely
Food
get more.
that has its origin from scientific research and innovation.
All right, gentlemen, you all are coming in this evening. I indicated earlier that Cameroon, that's under the auspices or the patronage of the head of state, Paul Biya. Cameroon will be organizing the 9th edition of the Week of Excellence in Scientific Research and Innovation. And that's going to take place in Yaoundé. It is called the JERSIC 2025, which will run from the 14th to the 18th of July 2025 in Yaoundé. So the head of state is struggling to enhance and accelerate scientific research and innovation in the country. Now, it's from this backdrop that we want to put Cameroonians on the rail on what the country is already going through as far as. I'm going to begin with you, Dr. Mafani, so that we get to understand first the context under which we are talking. We'll come to talk on, because I think your agriculture, yes, Dr. Justin is in agriculture, he's mostly on agriculture, you are mostly on soil, I think.
Geoscience.
Geoscience is soil.
Geology.
Okay, geology. You're in geology. Yeah. This is your teacher. And of course, our guest is just coming on AI, that's technology. All these are scientific researches and innovations. And so, let me just start with you, as even the regional delegate. You want to paint for us a picture of Cameroon state when we talk about scientific research and innovation. Where are we placing Cameroon on the map at this moment?
I would say Cameroon has done quite much to evolve in the area of scientific research and innovation, because if we look at the institutional framework, it started as some department in a ministry and then evolved. It was merged with the Ministry of Higher Education, and then the government thought that research is playing a very critical role in the development of the country, so they decided to separate it and upscale it to a full ministry. So just from the political will, we can tell that research is considered in this country. Now, on the side of the science, a lot has been done in this country. Unfortunately, we as researchers of the Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation, people usually don't see the impact that we have on development. Why? Because we generate the data, we generate the information, and we transfer it to user ministries. For example, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Mines, the Ministry of Environment. So those are the ministries that the users see. They don't see scientific research and innovation. That's why in the last 12 to 15 years, the ministry decided to showcase what it's doing so that the population, the public, should know what they are doing to drive the development of the country.
When you say scientific research and you're doing research, what are the core areas? Because I'm often familiar with oil, gas, those other minerals, but is it cutting across? Are there other areas in this research?
Absolutely. The Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation has 8 specialized institutes. The Committee for Development of Technology in the country, that's looking at things like ICT and artificial intelligence.
Right.
We have the Institute of Agricultural Research for Development, IRAD, that's specialized in research in agriculture. We have the Institute of Geological and Mining Research. We have the Institute for Medicinal Plant Research. We have the structure for the mission for the promotion of the use for local materials in construction. We have the National Center for Education that could translate as some policy or socioeconomic study center.
Okay.
And
Policy development.
Policy
center.
development, economic development,
Okay.
that's what they do. Okay, it's called National Center for Education, but it goes beyond just education. It addresses other things that pertain to the socioeconomy of the country. Then now we have the what used to be called the National Radio Protection Agency that has been transformed to the Radioactivity and Nuclear Authority of Cameroon. So just from the names of these structures, it tells you the kind of areas where the ministry or researchers of the Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation are operating. But that does not limit us, because we collaborate with researchers in higher education institutions, universities. So we are not limited to the work that is being done in the institute.
So, from a broad-based perspective, now you tell us that the Ministry of Scientific Research has done quite a lot since were you already yourself a pass mark since your creation and your activities within our context?
Absolutely. If I were to give us a rating, I would give us for the humility.
Some areas that are still
for the humility not to score ourselves very high, I'll give ourselves an A.
All right.
Below an A plus,
Right.
given the context and circumstances under which we have been operating.
Dr. Justin, those watching might be very far off from us. When you start talking sciences, people who are watching back home, they feel it funny because they might not relate. I want you to bring us closer. You are a great researcher. So what you're doing has to do with the food we eat, the survival of the nation. How does research affect the survival of the nation's life? Where do we bridge the gap? The research, especially in agriculture, where does it add to the livelihood of a nation?
Yes, just like what the delegate has said, research has played an important role in the country since the ministry became a full-fledged ministry on its own. At first it was merged with higher education. Since then, it has done a lot and quite. And as far as addressing issues of agriculture is concerned, I think IRAD, the Institute of Agricultural Research for Development, IRAD is the one that is the main institute
of the ministry.
Of the ministry.
For agriculture, in charge of agriculture.
Agriculture.
Okay.
Crop production, livestock production, biodiversity, environment, and soils, and even post-harvest management and processing. Yes, so IRAD does all that. A lot of research has been done to improve yields. A lot of research has been done to come out with crops that are climate, resilient. A lot of research has been done to come out with crops, even animal species that are resistant to certain pests, resistant to certain diseases, and so many, even crops that are, tolerant to certain acidic soil. Acidic soil sometimes hinder the production of food or certain crops. But research in IRAD has come out with some crops. You have some maize varieties that are resistant to weed, resistant to acidic soils, and so many others. So it has played an important role as far as food and nutrition security in the country is concerned. Of recent also, the processing department at IRAD has been doing a lot to come out with different type of flour, different type of foodstuff from different crops that is adding value to crops. Plantain flour, cakes from these and other things. The tea, Cameroon coffee tea. They have a lot that they have done in transforming these raw products into finished products with added value. So it plays a lot of role in the security, food security, and nutrition in the country.
At the level of IRAD, do you end with just research and recommendations? What is your primary benefactor as far as your works are concerned? Who does your work affect directly? Are you sending to the ministry to think, or you have products that you sell to the local people immediately?
Normally we have a lot of products. Most of the outcomes of IRAD is being forwarded to our guided ministry, which is the Ministry of Scientific Research. And from time to time, we also partake in this, we partake in some showcase. We partake in, let's say, JERSIC, Excellence, Week of Excellence for Science and Innovation. We partake and then showcase all these products, showcase various researches, showcase innovations that we do. I will sometimes have competitions, and certain competitions allow researchers within to produce different type of innovations that is being showcased to the general public. Yes, and to the Ministry of Agriculture in particular, and all that. So it's from there that we build and then we transfer this. And at times, for example, if you look at the base seeds that are used in Minader,
yes,
in the agriculture. So IRAD supplies these seeds, and then they are now given to farmers to multiply.
Some farmers also benefit just directly.
Yes, they benefit directly. They benefit directly.
Okay. Yes, you want to add something before I take on? Yes.
You asked the question that who benefits?
Yes.
It is the people of Cameroon who benefit from scientific research and innovation. When you walk down the street and you buy the yellow corn, that's the product of research. When you are living in Boya, which is a volcanically active area, and you are told that don't build here, do this, do that, that is the impact of scientific research.
Okay.
Now, scientific research, the researchers report to their tutelar ministry, the Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation. But we have an outreach responsibility also to talk to the population. That's why you invited us to the studio, so that we can have this conversation.
All right, Mr. Bate, earlier started by saying that the head of state last year it was on October 29th, I think, he signed a presidential decree increasing allowances for researchers in the country. And I mean, it has its own way of struggling that research should be elevated and researchers should at least have something to concentrate on. By the way, you say you specialize in geopolymer concrete. What was that?
Well, geopolymer concrete is a kind of cement produced from clay, which is environmental friendly, and it cuts down the amount of carbon dioxide which is being emitted by the normal Portland cement, which we use, or which Cameroon is producing. Because what we are producing is Portland cement, where we buy King Clay and use. But now with geopolymer is clay soil that we have. We study the mineralogical content, the geochemistry, and then the physical chemical properties to see how it can be related to civil engineering. So that's what geopolymer is. And I think that a lot of people, like Doctor already said, like the delegate said, are already benefiting from this because we have roofs today that are environmental friendly, that the common man will always say that I went to a house and rain is falling, you're not even hearing the sound of the rain. It's because of that clay and plastic. And I think that research has a place in import substitution of this country.
Okay.
The research has a vital role, and research has been doing that. I remember in one of the lectures Dr. Mafani gave us back then in ENS, he said there was a time cattle were dying in a portion in the northwest because researchers discovered that the plant that they ate, where the pasture, had a mineral which was not conducive for their system, molybdenite, and they died. And I think that they advised the population, and the population was aware. So every research, irrespective of the fact that the data is being processed and sent to the titular ministry or the observing body, the common man is always given the information to be put on the alert. And researchers have been advising farmers on organic manure to reduce chemicals in our crop because we want food security and the rest. So we are looking at how can this research on geopolymer help in fighting climate change. People used to think that climate change, when they used to preach it, people would think that, oh, it's something in the US, in the UK, in Europe.
Because that's where most of the
heavy industries are.
Yes.
But now we have it. If you take the impact of cement production along the coast of River Vuri, because I have 2 heavy companies there, or even 3, the impact of carbon dioxide at the same. That's why many people complain that Douala is too hot.
Yeah, it is.
Because of the impact of the carbon dioxide which is being emitted. And so research comes now to help. But the little worry I have is that most of this research, like the delegate said, especially those from the universities, are in the cupboard, which need to, for me, if I'm standing in front of the president today, I will tell him that all the research findings from the University of Boya, especially in all the faculties, should be sent to the regional delegate who can see and say, okay, because the ministry has a division for the valorization of research, which will be used for import substitution, that we can now begin to preach the doctrine of made in Cameroon good, tea from Cameroon, chocolate from Cameroon, corn from Cameroon, and so on and so forth. And I want to believe that when Joseph is going, if I give him tea from Cameroon, he will go back to America and say, okay, this is tea that is processed in Cameroon. He can sell the image of Cameroon. It's not only sport. So I think that research is the bedrock, is a ministry above all ministry, because if you do research in Iraq, the Ministry of Agriculture need benefit and they need to know. So there should be that collaboration. If we do research in civil engineering, the Ministry of Public Works should know, because we have basic knowledge of geoscience. You can advise the companies that are coming to construct on the type of rocks that could be used in the construction, so that we'll not be complaining that, oh, the construction of roads in Cameroon is very expensive. I want to assure you that with current findings in research, it shows that the pavement blocks that we use today that are concrete cannot resist, or are not more resistant than pavement blocks that were made from clay. The clay that you burn at a temperature of about 1,450, because the minerals that will be burned and become calcified, so it can really resist any vibration
So,
than the pavement broke.
The level of, I was asking about, I was bringing reference to what the head of state did earlier, late last year, because he was struggling to see that you researchers at least have something to go on with. But from what you're presenting, there's still a general non-acceptance of your works as researchers, or maybe they are not making maximum use of the research that is from Cameroon. You're talking about cement. I don't know whether the cement you're talking about people are familiar with. What's the level of acceptability of the works of Cameroonian, an average Cameroonian researcher?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that you showcase yourself. You showcase yourself. When I did this work and I presented somewhere in Yaoundé, one of the directors said, "No, this kind of work cannot stay in the cupboard." And he asked me, I had to give him a copy of my research, and he went through. And I think that as we speak, the ministry is studying that work. There's a letter in front of the Minister of Scientific Research and Innovation to look at how they can valorize it. And I was very encouraged by the directors who are in charge. And they were like, there are a lot of good works that people have carried out that are not known, they're in the cupboard. And so I think that, thank God the delegate is here, there could be a channel that will bring research that is not carried by researchers of scientific research to the scientific research, so that they look at it and they see how we can valorize it. That will increase our import substitution, because that's a new terminology now of the state. Whether I take it or leave it, I used to tell people that you can be very intelligent, but the geopoliticians control the world and they decide the policy. And if you don't work with, you don't liaise with them, your product cannot be propounded. So what do? We should, if I don't go to the delegate to tell him that this is what I'm doing, he will not know. And you cannot blame him. So there could be a link between current research and the Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation, which is a tutelar ministry that has been given the full powers to supervise and monitor research in this country.
All right. Yes, before I come back to you, for those of you who are watching back home, there's a number on your screen. If you have anything, you can channel through that number. We'll read it on set here. But before I come to you, Dr. Justin, I want to link. You talked about the area, the sector in the ministry where you focus on ICT and artificial intelligence. We know how much this is. In fact, even in the Ministry of Secondary Education, I saw Minister Nalova last year, academic year, running from here to there, struggling to bring this whole thing of ICT and AI, which has become a new, I don't know how to, we're evolving in a very speedy way. And we're thanking God that Joseph is here. Captain Joseph, when you say captain, there are many ways to look at the captain. Is it the captain of a ship, captain of
a United States Army Ranger?
Oh, that's quite interesting. Yes. And which means that people are doing plenty of sciences and research in that area.
Certainly.
So, yes. How much does it take to do research in the area of technology, ICT and AI? AI is becoming something that's very, is taking us in Africa here, most especially on our toes. We don't know how this came. How easy or how difficult is it to do research in this area?
Yeah, that's a great question. Artificial intelligence is here. Here's a couple of interesting facts. 10 years ago, the amount of research or output from data that would have cost about $1 million and taken months worth of work can now be done by a teenager on this device. All the data that existed from the beginning of time to 2023, just 2 years ago, has been doubled in the last 2 years. And the amount, the ability of someone 10 years ago would have taken a team of 20 people, 6 months, and millions of dollars, and that can now be done in a matter of moments. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. And the best news is that it's largely free. Now there's AI tools out there that cost money, but the amount of compute power is staggering. That would have literally taken an entire skyscraper in a major city, in New York City, that's now possible at your fingertips. And so artificial intelligence is letting us do a lot of things in the field of research. Number one, reach and accessibility. Reach and accessibility. A single person can now reach data that was impossible to reach 10 years ago. I don't say impossible as in they couldn't find it, but it would take a long time.
Yes.
It would take days, weeks, minutes, months. And when you reduce that down to nanoseconds, the amount of the good that one person can do is staggering. So reach and accessibility. Now, I travel around the world. I get to visit a lot of Catholic communities, but they're really, that could be the same as any community. And what they're looking to do is educate people. And AI has an amazing ability to educate. Reach and accessibility in AI terms means creating chatbots or a virtual assistant. And so you can take a tremendous amount of information and allow people to interact with data. For a company that I worked for had the first AI tool which would allow you to take a large book, say the Bible, or say a Tolstoy novel, or say a book on geology. And once that information was in the system, in the AI system, you could have a dialogue with it.
Okay.
You could talk to that book, and you could ask it, what if I wanted to take minerals from this ocean and mix it with this lake?
It analyzes it for you.
Yes, it's going to synthesize that information and figure it out. And it's unbelievable that this information, this ability is able to be harnessed by college students and beyond. So you can do a lot of good with AI.
I don't know about your universities over there or your society much over there in terms of the usage of AI, but you people, I mean, the West made these things possible. Back here in Africa, you visited a community where we don't make too much use on in the area of technology, ICT. It's strange to us, but we are focusing more on, like you see me, I have people in agriculture.
Right.
This is our own area. Where do we have how can we integrate AI to ensure that it helps in Iraq? This is in Iraq where they are struggling with diseases and pests and everything. Is there a point where we can really harness the use of AI within the context of agriculture, minerals, and all the like?
Well, I think there really is. I think one of the reasons why these are hard problems to address is because they're hard to address. It's hard to figure it out and have all the data and be able to do computations. But if you're able to ask an AI machine the right questions, it can harness, it can produce a lot of information for you. If you're saying, I'm struggling with a problem, we have a certain chemical that's damaging a certain crop, and it's indigenous to this area. By putting in information and letting it work, it's going to give clues. In some cases, it gives downright answer. And so it's not replacing the human.
Yeah.
The human still has to drive. You have to navigate it like you're driving a ship. But prompt engineering is a term that's used for asking the right questions. And as long as that data is available, and it is, I mean, there's the power of the world's best supercomputer that existed 10 years ago. It's now available for everyone. We can start to get answers. So smart people, one smart person can do the work of a team of 10.
To your own appreciation, we are looking at an area where AI is taking over in the learning space. Is it going to be a threat? Is it a plus? What's the future?
Well, the calculator came out about 35 years ago, and people thought, well, now children won't be able to do math anymore. It'll do it for them. But what the calculator did is just it eliminated those basic mathematical processes and allow people to do more advanced processes. And I think that's what AI is going to do as long as there's a human driving the wheel. It's going to save tremendous amounts of time in research and just allow them to do more.
Right. I'll come back to you because I don't know how long you have here in Boya, because definitely we will need to have a taste of what your knowledge on AI is, so that we can grab a little bit and invest in. I don't know whether you saw tea. You was talking about tea. Did you see tea around the bishop's house?
I did. I've seen tea and several crops.
Yes.
And I've been super impressed with Cameroon with the ability and the natural resources. I mean, from an outsider's perspective, Cameroon has everything. Everything. It's the foundation is set for this to have great economic stability and progress in this country, with maybe just a little boost.
All right, Doctor. Let's talk a bit on because time is not a very good friend this evening. Let's talk a bit on the 9th edition of the Week of Excellence that is coming up in Yaoundé. Yaoundé is the capital of Cameroon, and the head of state is patronizing this Week of Excellence. The JERSIC, it is in its 9th edition. What has been the impact of this Week of Innovation since the other editions? What has it given out to Cameroonians so far?
Yes.
And what is it just all about?
Yes, thank you. The Week of Excellence for Scientific Research and Innovation is an opportunity for researchers of all different departments to showcase what research is doing, and then for researchers to interface with entrepreneurs so that the technologies that have been developed can be transformed to some end user products. So that's the drive for the Week of Excellence. Now, before I dwell more on that, Captain Joseph said something about artificial intelligence. And the way he described it, he described the superior and more advanced level of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And you asked if we have it here.
Yes.
We have what is known in Boya as a Silicon Mountain ecosystem made up of young tech guys.
Yes.
They are doing a tremendous job in areas of artificial intelligence. And talking about the Week of Excellence, I'll be going to Yaoundé with a group of young tech guys from the Silicon Mountain ecosystem.
I'm not cutting you, but we know that Boya is the technological capital of Cameroon.
The technological hub of Cameroon.
Yes, the hub of technology. The guys are crazily innovative.
Absolutely.
Here in Boya. And we're hoping that they'll come up with something.
We've been working with these guys over a number of years, and the solutions that will be taken to Yaoundé, one, they've developed a waste management app that will be taken to Yaoundé. The second is they've developed a disaster risk management app that has an early warning system in it. And thirdly, they've developed another app that allows researchers of all disciplines to come together on the same platform and policymakers.
Wow.
So that the research that is going on in the country, when I publish in some international journal. How many Cameroonians know that I've published? So these tech guys have developed this app that will be taken to Yaoundé so that all the research work that has been published in the country will be in that platform. So all you need to do is access the interface, and then you query and you have whatever information that you need. That is coming from the Silicon Mountain ecosystem. And one of the key things about the disaster risk management tool that they have developed, it will be AI powered, where if there is rainfall, based on the information that has been fed into the computer, they will send a drone that is AI powered. The drone goes out there, collects data, and send it back real time, so you don't need to go to the field. If there is a landslide somewhere and there is rain, it's difficult for you, the researcher, to go there and collect data. You just deploy the drone, it goes there, collect the data, and it sends it back to your base station, and you process it. So AI is here. We have it in Cameroon, we have it in Boya, and like you rightly said, Silicon Mountain is the lead hub. And the Minister of Scientific Research and Innovation, Dr. Madeleine Chuente, in 2017 recognized the role that Silicon Mountain is playing in the technological drive of the country. That's why in that year, that was in 2018, the prize for innovation and excellence for innovation, the presidential prize, 10 million francs, was won by somebody from Silicon Mountain.
Okay. So this edition this year, people are coming together for I think almost 5 days. Yes, from the 14th to the 18th or so.
Yes.
What kind of what's the scenario? Who are those coming? About just the Silicon Mountain people? What are the kind of people we're expecting to be seen, and what would they be doing in Yaoundé?
We're going to see researchers from all disciplines. We're going to see policymakers. We're going to see end users of research results. We're going to see entrepreneurs. We're going to see industrialists, because the theme of this year It's from scientific research to endogenous industrialization for the structural enhancement of the economy of Cameroon. And these words were carefully selected. Endogenous, which means that it's driven from within, it's not from outside. So we are using local solutions to address local problems. That's where the endogenous is. So let's transform these local solutions to industrial solutions, to some economic. Let's commercialize the local solutions. So that's the thrust of the Week of Excellence for Scientific Research and Innovation this year.
There's this whole research, the National Development Strategy 2030. It's a strategic plan put forth by the state of Cameroon to be able to catch up with this technological development. We don't know how the state has been able to align with this strategic 2030 strategic plan. What was the coverage so far? Do you have an idea on how the coverage so far on this strategic plan has been? Is it moving?
Not really, but I think that from the agricultural perspective.
Yes, which I want you to talk on.
Yes, as a researcher from IRAD, I think the IRAD has been playing a lot of role to meet this NDS 30, which is a 20, from 2020 to 2035 or so, or 30 plan. If you look at it, that whole plan is about economic growth, it's about social development, and so many other things. But if you take economic growth, IRAD has played an enormous role. Most of the products, one thing that makes people don't look research as if it is very important for the country is that there are some research takes time. Number one. Number two is that some of these outputs are tangible, while others are intangible. So, if you produce a product, for example, a pesticide, a farmer uses it and he acts on the pest.
Yes.
He takes it very fast and research is important. But if you come out with a technique, for example, that if let's say you come out with a technique that something is divided, let's say insects are found more on top plant than the lower part of the plant. A common person will not see of what importance that is to agriculture. But when you are formulating, let's say, an integrated pest management strategy, you know that, if you have more of the insects in this level of the plant than this level, why focus you are spraying on all the plant? Why don't you do a precision, spraying? So, these intangible and tangible results make sometimes people, are very slow to see the impact of, research and the time that it takes. If you take the case of Igbo cocoa, yes, this cocoyam have been asking a lot of questions. So, research has a lot of things that it has produced. It has improved productivity. There are a lot of outputs that have increased productivity. It has increased standard of living of people. It has even made some people to have jobs. When I was working in Kabab in 2002, when I was sent there, I was on secondment. Central African Research Banana Plantain.
Where is that?
In Jombe.
Okay.
Yes, a specialized regional plantain and banana research center. Dr. Koa came out with a technique, rapid multiplication of plantains and banana. They call it PIF today. Go anywhere, talk about PIF in plantains. So many farmers. People are having money today, doing business by just doing micro propagation of plantains and bananas and selling the PIF. I am one. From 2002 till now, I've made some amount of monies by doing macro propagation that I saw in Kabab and then selling it as supply to Sweden, supply to people, 10,000, 30,000, 50,000 at the price of about 250. So when you take something like 30,000 times 250 francs. So there are people who have based their life on that. So improve their standard of living, income generation, job creation, and all that, which aligns with the national development strategy.
All right. So as these innovators and researchers go to Yaoundé, I don't know if you're going, but what could be your main focus if you were to tell them that they should adjust something within this sector, within the agri research sector in Cameroon? Would there be some things you would point out to them?
Yes, if I'm given the opportunity. First is that from the Malabo Declaration, each country in Africa, many of them signed that they were going to be investing 10% of the budget to agricultural research and everything agriculture. But we did some research in a project and found out that so many countries have not still reached 5%. They signed for 10 since 2014 or so. Till now, they have not reached 10% of what they signed. They're still 5%. So we need to step up funding.
Funding.
Yes.
It's just a big problem in research.
Yes, we need to step up funding. For
Dr. Mafani wanted to add something before I...
Yes, Dr. Okole said he produced PIF that he sold. In scientific research, it's an outreach. The money that is collected is to offset the production cost. It is not to make a profit. So somebody shouldn't listen to him and think that scientific research is making profit out of that. No.
It's just a buy.
Exactly. No, but what I wanted to add about the national development strategy, research plays a critical role in the national development strategy. One of the things that the national development strategy wants to do is to enhance the quality of life, is to cause the structural transformation of the economy. And it is one of the other things to improve productivity. Now, how do you improve productivity without sound research? How do you reform the economy without sound research? How do you improve on the quality of life without sound research? And you asked if progress has been made. We can speak from the perspective of researchers that our contribution is significant. We have been producing the results. Now we have a problem at the science policy interface where we produce results, but the administrators and policymakers find it difficult.
That's a challenge you raised earlier.
Yes, they find it
So there's a problem of policy design, there's a problem of funding. Which other areas do we have problems as far as implementation of those scientific research?
The result of the data. Because, like Doctor already said, you see, once the findings of a research is profitable to the nation, it brings investment. It brings a lot of investment. The mines that are in the East today, if you look at, there are a lot of roads that are being created. The Kribi Deep Sea Port was built because it will help the country to export goods, especially minerals that will be extracted from the East. So scientific research has a role. We don't need to oversay it. It's very important, and it affects the common man. It affects the common man. Unfortunately, I think that we should have more platforms to sell what researchers are doing to the common man. In the city of Boya, researchers have warned that we should not build houses more than 2 stories. People are just building because they think they have money in their pocket. Someday, once the mountain will erupt and disaster is being caused, it's not like researchers are not informed.
That it erupted some years ago.
You understand?
Yes.
So there is a document that researchers have said, okay, because of what we have found out, this is what people should do. But I don't think people are respecting that. But if you look at the house that was built by the engineers of the yesteryears, there are no more than 2. But today we are building 6, 5, 6, and they are just going stories. And we even check, we have not really sure whether they have done proper geotechnical analysis of the soil. And so, who do you blame? The researchers do their work. The policymakers and the implementers or the administrators have to make sure that there is a follow-up of these research findings. Because if it's not done, you cannot blame the researcher. Each time when I get up from my bed and I see the way people are just building 4 or 5, I just tell myself that one day when the mountain will surprise us, because when it happened, people would think it's a surprise. I remember, I think it was on this platform or on the CRTV that the delegate was talking about the flood, the flash flood on the mountain. But people put it on social media and say, mountain don't craze. They interpreted it in their own way.
As if it was an occultic
occurrence. But I want to assure you that that same flash flood, when I had to trek from the source, is a natural spring that man has built and blocked it. The spring is flowing right from the mountain. And the present the synod office is on the track of that stream. So the water just came and followed a natural course. You know, like it created another one and caused a disaster. And that was to test the engineering of what was building, and I'm sure the engineers had to sit up and do something. So I think there's a lot of research that is going on. The results are there. You can consult. Sometimes when you pass in front of the delegation of scientific research, just like people don't do it, there's a place where people are supposed to go there and get information, because the researchers are always in the field. You may not have them like you have now that are selling this information, and how many people are watching. But what we are seeing is that there's a lot of research that the common man can benefit. A lot.
Are you going to
there
be
should be a communication.
Are you going to be in your own day too?
Yes, because I was invited, so maybe it's an opportunity that we are going to be selling Cameroon, put Cameroon on the
Yes,
platform.
people should not just sell. People should tell policymakers to actually, because I think this is where the biggest challenge is. Captain, yes.
Before you go to,
Yes,
please,
yes.
just one thing. Mr. Tabi said something.
Right.
As you blame the fox, so should you blame the hen. What did the hen go to do where the fox is? The researchers have their own responsibility because they don't communicate research results in a way that policymakers and administrators will understand.
Okay.
Yes, so that's a problem. And that's why the Minister of Scientific Research and Innovation, Dr. Madeleine Chuente, came up with this idea of Week of Excellence,
yes.
to cause researchers to stop talking
And
like
to have a meeting
technicians
point too.
and transform the technical information or the technical data to information that the common man can absorb.
Yes, and that brings me also. You see this issue of using research results. I saw something in Malaysia. I studied in Malaysia for my PhD. In the university there, they have a whole unit or department on the use of research findings. That's a department on its own. So all those research results that masters, PhDs produce, MBAs, they bring it to that department. There are people working there looking at those that have the potential, and then they use it to build prototypes and this and that from those results. So it is something. I said it one time in the Faculty of Agriculture. They say, yeah, that is good. So those
Dr. Mafani is saying here that there's a special center, so that maybe probably that center is used to harness all these results.
Yeah, the setup for this.
But is it really? It could be there, but not really efficient.
It is not limited. That's why there is a department of dissemination of research results in the ministry. Dissemination and the value addition for research results. In French, say valorization and vulgarization and valorization. That's because formerly the ministry, the researchers were just doing research. They did not have that arm. That's why you had extension services with the Ministry of Agriculture only. But today we are going out to the field to talk to people. So that role is not limited to the National Center for Education.
All right, Captain, you've been through many countries, especially in Africa. I don't know how you can now put us side by side. You are advanced I know the West is advanced in terms of technology and all this, but we are also advanced in natural resources. Yes, like you did testify earlier. How can we bridge this to help? Because at the end of the day, all this research and all these things are to help humanity so much that we can live, like Doctor said, a better life. So where do we bridge the gap between technology, scientific researches, and those natural resources that we have, so that we can have this better life? if we were to give an advice to us, you heard the challenges, policy issues.
2 points have come up that are very interesting from my colleagues. One is the use of funds, or the need for funds, which
Yes,
is always
funding.
going to exist. And one of the things that AI can help with is to help reduce some of the expenditure. I was listening when you were talking about maybe research shows that insecticide on the top of a plant is more effective than on the bottom. Well, with AI, you could create some content. This is just a very simple example, but you could ask AI to generate a video, because video is very powerful to instruct people, and say create an AI video that instructs people on the process of administering insecticide on the top of a plant rather than the bottom. And that's something that someone would have to go to the studio and make a video.
You make a video.
You could do that very simply. So this isn't going to solve all the problems in the world, but it's just incremental. And it saves money, and it allows you to invest resources elsewhere. And so they're just, little things. And then another point was talking about the, I think you said it was Malaysia, that had a department that takes all of the results. Well, that's a fascinating possibility that AI opens up. You could greatly increase your efficiency in operations by taking results of studies that seem unrelated. And maybe they are completely unrelated, but fed into a system that thinks about how they could be used. You could have something that takes the results of a chemical study or geological study, or maybe something that had a study on people taking antacids for stomach problems. Seemingly unrelated, and it might bring up something that was unexpected.
The way you speak, it will appear we are moving to a generation where every one of us should be a researcher. Maybe just with the phone.
That's right.
Yes, we should be proactive with the new technologies, so that we also help in all these challenges. But there could also be limitations to the use of AI. I don't know how accurate artificial. I already said no, it will not be accurate. But to what extent is artificial intelligence inaccurate?
Well, everyone's going to use the scientific method, which they understand. You have to vet and prove out the premises and theories. But it certainly gives you a great jump start. And I would say that 3 years ago, people that were naysaying artificial intelligence were saying things like, we don't know how good the data is. But if you're taking well-accepted data that exists, and you are computing theories within that, and you're prompt engineering, you're going to get some valid data.
Right.
And then like any theory, you prove it out. So I think it's there. You said limitations of AI. People that are afraid of moving into a new area
Could you try again?
are always going to have a problem with something. But the benefits greatly outweigh. You have an amazing ability to move forward.
All right. Yes, you want to ask something?
I just wanted to add something
Yes,
to
go
what
on.
Captain Joseph said about AI and the solution that it brings. The question was asked that is AI not coming to take the jobs of the... No, it isn't. It's what AI is doing is to remove the unnecessary clutter and allow researchers or scientists to focus on more important things and increase their level of productivity. Now, what that does is that with AI, you need somebody who has background knowledge in what you have queried to vet and endorse that, okay, what AI has given me, it's correct.
And that is where we're talking about the prompt engineering.
Exactly.
You have to prompt the
Exactly.
AI rightly to be able to give you the right...
Absolutely.
The doctor's insight is so clear. If the premise is there's only so much to be gained, if Cameroon could only achieve this level of crop production, well, that might be a true statement.
Yes.
That the AI is going to take away some jobs. But now you're going to allow people to be more focused, more productive, and the net output is going to take a country's crop production 5x. So now you're not limiting jobs. You're allowing the same amount of people to do 5x the work.
And even creating more jobs.
Yes, it's
So let's quickly look at the future of scientific research and innovation. When you look at Cameroon as a whole, I know that we have so many things. We're talking about policy. It's truly we have a policy issue in the country. Well, I don't want us to go into politics, but we have areas that are still untouched when it comes to, we might have areas that are still untouched when it comes to our natural resources, and we need more scientists to focus on, especially in the area of minerals. Doctor, I don't know how much we've been able to explore our minerals. I saw some African head of states a few days ago. They were in the US with Donald Trump, struggling to tell Trump that we have minerals here, and please come and explore it for us. Don't we have the capacity? We've trained so much of you guys in schools. I mean, all the way to Malaysia and back, and our universities. Don't we have the capacity to Africans and Cameroonians to get into our own resources and explore them? But I said, why do we always feel like we must go get experts from elsewhere?
I'll tell you something. In the business of mineral mining, you have the exploration phase and the exploitation phase. The exploration phase is purely research. That's where data is generated. Now, when the data is generated, it's floated to whoever is interested, and then investors come in to see if it is exploitable. Now, it only becomes an ore if it's economically exploitable. And AI can help. AI has raised the ceiling of all minerals. So minerals that were some 20, 30 years ago were of no economic value have economic value today because of what AI is adding. Now, what in Cameroon we have done, I was privileged to be amongst those who were in the grassroots exploration phase in the 90s, in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's what kind of reinvigorated the mining sector in Cameroon. And what we did, the data that was generated from there caused some international interest. That's when mining exploration companies started coming to Cameroon to get licenses. So where we are today, I hear people say we should get into exploitation and all of that. Fine, we should get into exploitation. But I think that in Cameroon, we still need to focus on the business of exploration. Let's understand our subsurface resources. Let's know the value of what is there before we get into
bringing people
into exploitation. And exploitation is capital intensive. You need a lot of money. I'll give you an example. We did some work in some iron ore deposits in the eastern part of the country. And one of the challenges we had was transporting iron ore from there to a port facility. You cannot transport iron ore by road because of its weight, of its specific gravity. All the roads will depreciate. And we did a survey on the existing railway, and we realized that the load-bearing capacity of most of the bridges could not carry the iron ore. That's how the idea of building a new railway from Balam to Kribi.
Mbala iron ore.
Yeah, Balam iron ore. That's how it came up. Now, there is an iron ore deposit just near the port, the Mamed iron ore deposit. The difference with it is that it is magneted, which needs that it has to undergo some processing to improve its grade. The one in Balam is direct shipping ore. You extract it and you send it straight to the factory. Now, those who are besides Kribi, the distance to which they have to move their products to a port facility is very short. So they can go through the process, bear the cost of beneficiation because they are not transporting along that lane. So to me, if you ask me, let's focus on understanding our subsurface deposits before we think of exploiting. Because exploitation, if you ask me, we do not have the accompanying infrastructure to do exploitation.
Okay, Mr. Bate, let's look at quickly the partnership between private and public researchers. Is those who are private, how easy is it to be a private researcher? And is the state opening up for private researchers to also benefit like those who are on the government? I don't know whether they're somewhere on the government side or payroll or something. How is it as a private researcher to work?
I think as a private researcher, it will not be easy to go along with it because research is very expensive. It's very, very
Are there
expensive.
opportunities that private research?
And I don't know as of now whether any private company is investing in research. I don't think so.
Can I just add something? He benefited from Mipromalo. Mipromalo is a government structure.
Okay.
The ERAD takes students for internship. We are working with the guys of Silicon Mountain. Those are private independent researchers.
Okay, that's how much the government
So
can.
government is supporting private and independent
But to
researchers.
stand independently is quite challenging.
Even you, those of us who work in public institutions, can you stand as an independent? You cannot. You need funding for you to carry out the kind of research.
All right, Captain, let me read this message from one of our viewers. Good evening to you. This is Charlie Ditcher. He's a senior journalist watching tonight. He says, good evening and thanks for the interesting program on research ongoing. He says, many years back, Cameroon boasted some of the best researchers in Africa across the board. The country partnered with land-grant universities in the USA, and our local universities like Nchan and Gaundary benefited a lot by way of expertise, teaching, and more. You had the root and tuber research project, that's the root chip, generating tissue culture in Ekona. This laudable project had an extension component that touched the local farmers so positively. It says there was a fishery research in Batoke, the cereal one in Colbison, Yaoundé, the small ruminant project, and more in Bambui. They seem to have all gone under, sadly. These projects that were dotted all over Cameroon played a significant role in reshaping the higher education landscape by promoting research, innovation, and outreach in various fields, including agriculture, engineering, and other sciences. In short, what has happened to agriculture in extension? For example, Charlie Ndicha. Thank you, Charlie. Charlie is also lamenting the fact that we used to have this research, but unfortunately, like I said, policy, like we are agreeing, policy makers are not helping things out here for us. Just to end, looking at our context now, where do we move from in terms of artificial intelligence and the future of sciences? Where do we start with the younger generation so that by the time they get to our ages, where do we integrate AI in our societies today? In your own communities, in your own societies, do you start from the basic level? Where does AI come into our very own culture?
Well, the good news is that AI is bringing the younger generation to feel that they can really make a contribution. And that's typical with technology. And so we're getting folks that are at the university level that can really harness AI. And I'll say this is just a general cultural statement. The success of an individual a country like Cameroon is greatly enhanced when the young people go and get educated and come back to Cameroon and stay in Cameroon. Much like the minerals that are under the ground. Your most successful countries harness that their own. They're not just allowing someone else to come and exploit it, because that's a short game. But the long game is for Cameroon to put the infrastructure to be able to use their own resources. And so you get the initial benefit, you get the secondary benefit, and you get the tertiary benefit. And that takes a little bit of long-sightedness, and I hope that that exists here. Because you asked me earlier how I would compare Cameroon's resources to other countries in Africa. Certainly, I've not been to all, but I've been to 28 countries out of the 54 in Africa, and there's almost no comparison with the richness of resources that exist here in Cameroon. So they should stay here. So I think that AI indirectly is helping young people get motivated, get interested. We got to keep them here and make those make that progress.
I'll be quite honest with you a little. With the AI we have here, most people just use AI. I mean, digital tools, technology to browse. We use social media most. Not really for research like the professionals here. So the younger generation, are there opportunities, platforms to really orientate them make them to refocus on,
Sure.
on the positivities of AI, because it's true that it has positive uses, but we are not seeing a generation that is going towards that direction.
Well, a little messaging would go a long way, because as you mentioned, AI is a tool that can be used for simple entertainment, but the concepts are the same. I mean, the concepts are the same. The people that are generating silly, non-productive entertainment, they could be generating very productive research.
All right. So let me just end with you. You are here in Boya. You
Yes.
say you came to visit us.
Yes, I did. I've been looking forward to. I have a friend, Father James. He's a young priest that we met in Notre Dame.
Yes.
He introduced me to Bishop Beebe, and we're having a wonderful time.
Are you intending to come back here anytime soon for any projects? Have you seen anything so captivating that you might want to come back to?
Well,
Boya?
it's an amazing country. It has so many riches, and I've only seen just a fraction of it. I've been to Douala and Buea and Limbe.
We just have the tallest mountain here. We are sitting on the foot of that mountain. Doctor, you want to say something before we part ways this evening, Dr. Mafani?
Yes, I was going to say something about the AI when you asked about the younger generation.
Yes.
These young men and women are amazing in the skills that they have. What we need to do is to accompany them so that they can put these
Refocus.
skills to good use. There is a young man who came and was wanted a job. He said he was a cybersecurity expert, and I asked him, "Can you hack my phone?" He said, "Yes, I can hack your phone," and he got the job. Because if you're a cybersecurity expert, you should be able to hack. So he said, "Yes, you could hack my phone." Now, if you look at where we are today in the Silicon Mountain ecosystem
Boya.
in Boya, that's why in Boya you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have these young men and women who are coming up with great apps, software developers. In that same ecosystem, you have some who are putting that knowledge into some undesirable use. But then, that's what technology is and development is all about. So to me, if you ask me, we have the talents. Let's transform these talents to skills so that we can direct them towards a more productive direction.
Right. Dr. Josh Mafani, I hope that you go to Yaoundé and then bring us some positivities when you come back next week, definitely.
Hopefully.
All right. Dr. Josh Mafani is the regional delegate of scientific research and innovation for the Southwest region and a geology expert.
A geologist.
A geologist. Okay. The science terms are very... Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Dr. Justine Okole from Irat Ekuna.
Irat Kumba.
You are now in Kumba?
Yes.
Okay.
The chief of station of Irat Kumba.
Okay, you are now in Kumba. Good to know. All right, because I used to know that you were in Ekuna.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for your time too.
Yes. For me, I think that there was one time, I think it was in Jombe or somewhere, I was very, very disappointed that an administrator asked us researchers, I was very, very disappointed in my life. How do you ask us what do we research? We do a lot, and we need to encourage research. It is what is going to change the face of the country in different sectors, whether the energy sector, the geological mining sector, agri sector. We need to emphasize on that, and we need to start encouraging our young people at a very young age. If I look at it, sometimes I don't see events that encourage young people to start seeing research as something that they could go in for. I tried something before the crisis, that during the holidays, instead of taking children to still continue with education, normal
In classroom.
classes, they were there at the research center, looking at the different laboratories, different things, doing different things that we're doing. And I tell you, the first year we had, people told me it will not work, but the first year we had 40 students, the second year 120, the third year we started entering into this crisis.
Yes, so it's a matter of sensitization.
Yes.
And I think that is why we're here this evening playing our own role. And definitely with time, we'll come back to talk on this, because there's no way we will enhance development without research and innovation. So thank you very much, Doctor, for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Bate, thank you too. We hope that your cement will be used someday in Cameroon. And
Well,
be
I
accepted.
think that the product has been used ere long because we have bricks, clay bricks that are being used. And when I was talking with the director, he asked if the minister called in and said, okay, can you go out and give us a quantity of this clay
Will you have that
we
raw
have
cost?
so that you can encourage the government now to invest.
Yes.
And I share with what Dr. Mafani said, that more should be exploration, so that we quantify our natural resources, that we can now see what we want to invest. And by picking up with what Captain Joseph said, we can train our own Cameroonians who will come and transform, so that we move from the primary, the secondary to the tertiary. In fact, there's no news saying that Cameroon is a geologic El Dorado in Africa, and why not the world? There's no news again saying about that. What we need to do is, like the younger ones, encourage them to this subject. Because as a geology teacher, I realized that your knowledge of geology can lead you to agricultural research for soils. Your knowledge of geology can lead to other parts. But unfortunately, Mr. Joe, on this platform, it's a Catholic TV. Most of your schools don't do that geoscience that can open the students, so that they can also be models on how to signal, like Silicon Mountain is already doing, signal disaster risk management or mountain eruption. And from this young mind, this energy that they have, we can help them when they study these things.
Yes, okay, definitely. We'll definitely make our time to talk more about that. I think CUIB offers courses in engineering, but to be very truthful, this one in minerals and all the like, I really don't know. All right, so thank you, Mr. Bate, for your time. And Captain Joseph, thank you too for coming. You traveled, when you travel around the world, what's your primary focus?
Well, my primary focus, I'm an author and I have a travel company, but I'm very involved with the Catholic Church.
Okay.
And so it takes me to a lot of places. I fell in love with Africa about a decade ago, and I enjoy visiting. And mostly I'll visit parish priests and like the bishop who invites me here.
You worshiped today with us at Regional Purchase. I saw you on TV. I watched on TV and I saw you. How was the worship culture?
We had a lovely mass.
All right.
For the diocesan mass. Just lucky that I happened to be here at a wonderful time. I'm so impressed with the faith and strength of people of Cameroon, and they're really at a foundation point. They could take off the sky's the limit.
All right. So we'll be hoping to have you again anytime you come to Cameroon and to Boya. ZMR TV is here.
Thank you.
It's of the Diocese of Boya. So gentlemen, thank you all for coming and for your time sacrificed this evening. That was it for Mountain Echoes this Friday's edition. On Monday, we'll be with you again for another exciting edition. I've been Jude Mbako Munyo. Have a blessed weekend watching ZMR TV.